This is the Dallas Morning News. It's Friday, January 2nd. An abundance of sunshine on the way today with a high of 75. Clear skies tonight with a low of 50. A bit of a cool-off on the way for the weekend. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 65. Sunday will be partly cloudy with a high of 62. Here are today's headlines. Dallas saw a drop in emergency calls about celebratory gunfire this New Year's Eve compared to the start of last year. DPD reported Thursday that they received 759 calls related to celebratory gunfire and another 273 calls about fireworks. During a Wednesday news conference, Police Chief Daniel Como warned about random gunfire, fireworks, and intoxicated driving, noting that the department responded to 865 calls related to celebratory gunfire last New Year's Eve. Unlawful discharging of a firearm is a Class A misdemeanor charge with fines up to $4,000 and up to 1 year in jail. Dallas police did not immediately respond to a request for comment Thursday about whether officers responded to any calls involving injuries from stray bullets. Police have said 4 people were injured early New Year's Day after a shooting outside the Pink House Dallas Strip Club in northwest Dallas. Police have not yet released information about the victims or any arrests. In other news, Texas is poised to make historic investments in water supplies and infrastructure in the next few decades, but some of the funding will not be immediate. During the November election, more than 70% of Texas voters approved Proposition 4, creating a constitutional amendment to dedicate up to the first $1 billion in sales tax revenue, exceeding $46.5 billion annually, to the Texas Water Fund from 2027 to 2047. This potential $20 billion marks the largest investment in water supply in Texas history, and comes as the state's booming economy sees a massive influx in new businesses and residents. The growth is putting new strains on Texas's natural resources and challenges an already fragile power grid. The constitutional dedication of funds begins when the fiscal year starts September 1st, 2027. The legislature has to appropriate the funds from the Texas Water Fund to the state's Water Development Board in order for them to be used. Because of this timing, the 91st Texas legislature, which convenes in January 2029, is the first scheduled session for the lawmakers to appropriate the funds dedicated to the Texas Water Fund because of the Proposition 4 passage. Next up, a woman was fatally shot in Fort Worth on New Year's Day after a confrontation with a security guard outside a business. Fort Worth police officers responded to a reported shooting Thursday around 5:40 p.m. in the 2600 block of South Riverside Drive. When they arrived, they found the woman with a fatal gunshot wound. The security guard, who has yet to be identified, was detained at the scene. According to police, the confrontation began when the security guard told the woman to leave the property. The two argued, and the guard used pepper spray on the woman. Police said the woman then grabbed what they describe as a stabbing weapon and was shot while heading toward the guard while holding the item. And Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire took a moment this week to campaign for a playoff system that more closely resembles the one he plundered back at Cedar Hill. Start at Thanksgiving with league title games and roll right through Christmas, thus avoiding long layoffs and putting it all to bed on New Year's Day. Not sure if it was the layoff or the moment or the disparity between the Big 12 and the Big 10, but Oregon posted the first college football playoff shutout since 2016 and the first in the Orange Bowl in 34 years with a 23-0 win in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff over the Red Raiders. Tech's 4 turnovers led to 13 Oregon points, but that was hardly the point. The Red Raiders, with the second highest scoring offense in the nation, could not get out of its own way. 6 of its first 8 drives ended in 3 plays or fewer. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. And don't forget to check out the Dallas Morning News Rewards program for our virtual events. For more info on upcoming events, visit rewards.dallasnews.com. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with more from the Dallas Morning News.